Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Miscellaneous Candor, frank, honest, and otherwise outspoken. This is Robbie, and here we are. I know we had a rough week. It's been tough, guys. Not just for us, but for the world. We can talk about that. Stephen, are you there?
Oh, the world is going down in flames, Robbie. You know it to be true. Hello, friends. It is I, Stephen, with a PH Kennedy board certified atheist, knocking at your door. And I just wanna point out, atheist is something we should all explore this time when all this insanity is going on in the world. That's my little quote.
This is not the time to pitch an atheism when we have this.
I'm trying to lend a hand. I'm trying to put my hand out, reach out, and touch someone. Because you know, anyways, we can talk about that later, if you would like to. See, I didn't want to infringe on your religious freedom by forcing anything down your throat. So, anyways, how
Okay,
are
well,
you?
I don't know. That seems like that was supposed to be like a backhanded compliment in a way, but I don't think that we should be doing that right now. Especially because there are people who are
What?
in the-
Robbie, are you in the
no, I'm
bathroom?
not. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. I thought you just walked away and you're doing your business in the bathroom because I heard like an echo. I thought
No, I
maybe.
did walk away. I was just closing the door.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
eating a slushy right now. So
You mean you're drinking a slushy?
no, I'm eating it. It's a what is it? A, Italian ice. Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you could call that eating.
They give you a spoon.
Yeah. So it's not a slushy. It's like it's Italian
Yeah.
ice. So that's more eating. What slushy you drink?
No, you don't. Not a real slushy.
I mean, okay. I'm thinking the ones from 7-Eleven where you have
A straw?
a straw with the little opening spoon, tiny little spoon at the end.
That's still kind of eating because when you drink that too much, you get brain freeze.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna. Okay,
So
so all right.
as we I guess we could keep that discussion about Slurpees, spoon versus eating versus drinking. We could keep that conversation going for the whole
Oh no,
period itself, for the whole
for
episode
our
itself.
own mental well being. How about that?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't want to talk about this. Whatever it is. I mean, I don't even know what to call it.
I mean, you're talking about it by saying you don't want to
I
talk
know
about
that's
it.
what I'm
So,
saying, but I don't because it stresses me out. But at the same time, I can't sit up here and say that
well,
I'm stressed out considering what's happening on the ground for the people who are caught in the middle of it.
slaughtered.
No,
Yeah.
I mean I know initially people were actually happy, and there's some people who were glad about it, and even Iranian Americans here were happy about it. But now some of the pictures I see where there's like whole neighborhoods engulfed in fire because of the gas um, being blown up, and I'm envisioning that while they were happy to be free, they weren't. That's not what they asked for.
Right. And some of my pro-Trump friends here in the U.S. at the start of it, they were saying, "Oh, look, the Iranians are happy about it. This is what they wanted. They're all happy about it. Why are you upset about this?" They didn't understand the big picture
What are they
and
saying now?
what was. Oh, they're all quiet, all quiet.
Mm.
Not, you know, yeah. And I will say that many of my far-leaning right friends have actually changed their
Well,
position,
Nick
and
Fuentes came
they
out
no
and
longer
said that
support.
he was voting for a Democrat.
I'm sorry, what
Okay,
did you say?
I said Nick Fuentes came out and said he was voting for a Democrat in the next election.
Are you
I
kidding?
am not. I wish that I was, but he said no. He
I,
said he off the MAGA
look,
train. He said this is it. They did not sign up for any additional wars. They did not sign up for any bombings for other countries like this. He said in the midterms he is sitting out, and in 2028 he's voting for a Democrat.
wow. I don't think the Democrats should allow him to register as a Democrat. He's not
You
deserving.
can vote for whatever you want to. You don't
I'm
have to register as a Democrat to vote for a Democrat.
No, you do. Wait.
No, you don't.
No, I think you have to register as the party that you're going to
No,
vote
you
for,
do
right?
not, because I haven't been a Democrat for I don't know how many years, and I have sometimes I
Okay,
voted
but
for Republicans and sometimes I voted for Democrats.
okay, but my point is, he should not be allowed to be on the Democrat side. He's just not deserving. He's too far gone. We don't want him.
Okay, speak for yourself. Everybody just
You
decide
want
what
Nick
they want to
Fuentes?
do. Look, no, I don't. He hates me.
I think the guy
I mean, he
should
hates my
be
existence. So I'm
killed. The
not going
guy
to sit
needs
here
to
and pretend
go.
like I like Nick Fuentes. He hates my.
Nick Fuentes needs to be he
But
needs to be
my
killed. I
I'm
mean,
not
I don't want to say
that. I'm
assassinated
not
because he's no
saying
one
that about
special. I
anybody. I'm
apologize,
not
but
going to say that. I'm not saying that.
he
What I
needs to
will
go.
say,
He needs to have his hands cut off.
here
He
we
needs
go
to
with the
go.
drama. Okay, what I will say is that the fact that he was so much of a Trump supporter, and once this happened, he's totally decided that he's going the other way, speaks to what is happening in terms of
Yeah,
how people feel about this decision. That is the point that I was trying.
yeah. Point taken. Yeah, point taken. I digress. I apologize. I kind of got theatrical
Yeah,
there for a minute, but yeah, I get
because
what
you
you're
can be
saying.
a drama king.
You know what, Robbie? I just put a little bit out there, and you had to bite. You had to take the whole arm,
Oh, I
didn't you?
didn't.
Okay. Okay. Um, I put my fingers out there. I dangled my fingers out there, and you took the arm.
That's okay.
Um,
My arms have
but
been
yeah.
getting taken recently, so
Oh, do tell.
yeah. I don't know. I may have mentioned that there was somebody who I was a little fond of who was a friend of mine, but it's kind of gone sideways. But I think it's because
Mm,
it's just hard when you're friends with someone and then something happens. But I also too think this person. I mentioned this when we first started kind of talking about whatever it was. He did say he was an avoider type of person when I asked how he deals with conflict, and I should have known that that was a red flag. Like I should have ran the other way, and that's come out.
mm.
And I just I don't have time for that. Not only am I too mature from an age perspective, but I'm just like I'm exhausted. I don't have time for that. That's too, especially anyway. Let's not talk about it. But
Okay.
I'm good. Okay, so what I did want to talk about though is, I mean, Megan Kelly came out and said that she was against this.
I saw a very brief clip about that, and I was shocked as well for that one
Tucker
too.
Carlson.
I saw I saw some posts, yeah, about him as well. Him, I've seen him, coming around for various reasons,
Mhm.
but
Joe
so that
Rogan.
wasn't that big of a Joe Rogan. Yeah, he started coming around a little while
Mhm.
back, right? I think the ones that I'm most shocked about are Megan Kelly and what you just told me about Nick
Yeah, Nick
Fuentes.
Fuentes. Mhm.
I mean, I just don't know what to say about that guy. I so we're talking about. I feel like people in our leadership, and as a result, they're sycophants, and as a result, it's trickled down to a lot of people. I think a lot of people have just become very numb to death, and you see our president positioning it as, oh yeah, people are gonna die, you know, just so casually, and
It's only
there's
because
just
they feel like
killing.
they're protected and it has not happened on our shores. Everybody, if
Yeah,
your neighborhood that you can look out on the street right now was burning like neighborhoods that are happening
yeah,
on the streets in Tehran, you would not be thinking about, you would not be saying this. It's because we are so
yeah,
far removed. I mean, let's think about it.
yeah.
9/11 was
We got oceans
2001.
separating us. I'm sorry.
I said 9/11 was in 2001.
Yeah,
It is 2026.
Yeah.
That is 25 years ago.
Yeah. Now you throw in the fact that you got a lunatic narcissist president that amplifies the whole thing as well, right? And when we've talked about, there's so many different factors why people follow him. They will put aside all morality, all humanity, and they will accept anything he does. So there are some of those people that will follow him off the cliff till the end.
There's always
And it's
those
just
people.
really sad. You said we always will always have those
Yes,
people.
for anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
But that I was listening to something and they were talking about how when we originally went to the Iraq war and they built the whole case and built in front of the UN and marched Colin Powell out there like the sacrificial lamb that he was for the time,
Mhm.
that 70% of the people at the time supported going into Iraq because of how they positioned it, right? And 30% of the people
Mhm.
were against it. They say now it's the opposite. 70% of the people in the country are against this, and 30 people
Mm.
are for it.
So I think it's increasing because I think maybe a week ago it was 60% were
Uh,
against it.
yeah, it's more
So
now from what I understand.
I
So,
mean,
you know,
yeah,
you can't
as
just because
expected.
you can't lock information down like you used to. It's just not that environment anymore. And um, he ran on no wars. But I don't want to talk about this the whole time. I don't even know. Have I even listened to any new podcasts? I don't think I did because I was trying not to listen to things. I listened to my normal stuff here and there.
Let me guess. Let me guess what podcast you listen to.
Of course, Compound with my
Hmm.
boys, Josh
Hmm.
Brown. Um,
Well, so I, in the same line of thinking, I actually listened to a very interesting podcast, which it's actually engaging. It's called what
Scaramucci.
is it? I'm sorry, say it again. You're kind
Oh,
of coming in.
Open Book with Anthony Scaramucci. Of course, I listened to Scott Galloway.
Uh,
Uh,
yes, there we go.
yeah, but go on, go on. What were you gonna say? What did you listen to? Because I didn't listen to anything new. I couldn't take it.
What? You,
I need
okay.
something like a
Um,
beauty podcast or something, so where it's totally not talking about anything that's going
yeah, that's what. Yeah, you're not. No one's forcing you to
to
listen
news.
to podcasts that talk about the current state of the world.
Like,
But in relation to, it's kind of linked to
mhm.
this. I I've been listening to a podcast called "Navigating Narcissism" with Dr. Ramani,
Oh, her. I've
and
heard of her.
oh, you have? Okay, this is the first time that I came across her. I
She's
haven't
Indian.
heard of her in the past. Is she? I thought maybe she's Indian or maybe Arab. I wasn't sure
I
what she
think
is.
she's Indian. We have to talk about Indian and black
Okay.
relations because that's been a sore subject recently with me, and I've been having to defend your people. So go on.
What are you talking? Okay, we'll get to that. Um, so have you listened to her podcast?
I've listened to some of her videos and how she talks about narcissism, but how to protect
Yeah,
yourself against narcissism and identify who it
yeah,
is
I
and
think
who it is and how to deal with them and to know that basically, they're nut jobs and that they're always going to like they're it's almost like they're predators the way she talks about them,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
that you
they
just
really
can't,
are.
yeah,
They
and
really are.
you need to like basically run when you're around. And the same thing with people who have avoidant personalities, which is like the situation I was in. I think, and I feel
Okay.
like that person's a narcissist and an avoidant as well. But I think the reason why
Oh,
I got so caught up was the person was a friend for such a long time. So I let my
yeah.
guard down and I never should have. I never should have because it's like things that and oh god, I found this one person on Instagram who's a guy who talks about avoidance and stuff. and you can tell he either is one or was one or something. But the way he puts it, it's
Okay.
like, and I didn't mean to interrupt your train of thought. I just kind of got involved. I got immersed in what you were saying. So then I'll be quiet and let you talk. But
Yeah.
things that he was
Go ahead.
talking about is
Go for
how
it.
these people look for, like, they see posturing and leverage as strength. And when I think about this particular
Hmm.
person, that is what he sees. And I don't see that as strength. I actually see posturing as insecurity and weakness, because it's pretend. When you posture, you're putting on a front. You're not acting from strength or confidence. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I think I'm disappointed, but I also too I'm over it, in the sense of, like, I'm not going to try to mend it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I mean, you've kind of come out of it. It's it's they there's posturing, and at the same time, it's got to be the right combination of factors. So they're looking for someone that can kind of fall into the positioning that they need,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
and someone that will be susceptible to what they are trying to do. So it's multi, and then so in this podcast they were talking. She interviewed a lot of different types of people, a lot of celebrities, which in this situation was good because people are more likely to listen, and it brings a lot more awareness to kinds of situations where people don't realize what is happening, because these people very often are not thinking that someone is can be so diabolical and so calculated, so manipulative to come after them. So their guard is down because they form an
Yep.
attachment. Um, and whether so there are some episodes that talk about a relationship, a male female relationship, or a parental relationship, or a relationship with a family friend, and these people are so calculating, and normal people don't think in that realm about they can't. Normal people like you and me don't have that manipulative mindset. So unless you're aware that people can actually be thinking in that kind of realm, you're not keeping your senses aware to pick it out when people come at you like that.
And I'm not talking.
Um,
We're not talking about in a job situation. We're talking about personal relationships.
yes, personal relationships, about narcissism. Yeah,
Yeah.
um, whether it's a relationship between a guy and a girl, a marriage, or dating, or if it's a parent-child relationship, or it's a family-friend relationship. Um, but the stories that I was hearing, it's just crazy how calculated, how manipulative these people can be. It's out of control. And then, like I said, normal people are not going to realize when they're getting sucked into it, because we're not, our brains don't function that way to be able to see that when it's coming at us, unless you're aware, which is that is a possibility, which is what I think this podcast aims to achieve, is to make people aware of what's out there. A lot of crazy people out there. So um, I give it. I give it a
Oh
9.5
wow.
out of 10.
Wow.
Yes, because I just like the awareness
How many
factor.
episodes did you listen
Um,
to?
Probably, let's say, I think 6 or 7,
Oh wow.
but they're long. So like, but
I
they're
know. So
long. They're each one is like an hour and a half long. So I didn't finish. Some I didn't finish the whole thing, or some I fast forwarded
mhm.
through, and that's why otherwise I would have actually given it a 10. But the thing was, I took zero point 0.5 away out of 10, so I gave it a 9.5
It's so long.
because they were pretty long.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you got long car
Yeah.
rides to work or whatever, then it's great. Just turn it
What's
on.
the name of it
I
again?
don't,
Tell us
I
the
don't
name of
have to
it.
drive to work.
Repeat the name.
Yeah, it is called Navigating Narcissism with Dr. Ramani.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Uh, what
Yeah,
else was I going to say? I feel like that's so true about not about having your guard down and how manipulative people are personally. It's like you just always have
yeah.
to. You really have to observe, and that's something I'm learning. How much you have to observe
Mm.
people, um, and then you have to make hard choices about people in your life. And so,
Yeah, and those it's very hard if you're attached, if it's a parent, you're dealing with anyone you love in
yeah,
any form. It's hard to, and I
it is.
was noticing that one common theme across all these stories I was listening to on the podcast is that in each situation, the the narcissist had a very magnetic personality, whether manufactured or not. They had a magnetic personality which enabled them to keep reeling the victim back in over and over. So they had that magnetic personality, and then the dark side would be there. But then they'd have that magnetic personality that would, that would keep on reeling that person back in. So it
They're
was
usually
those.
the most charismatic people are the most narcissistic, like
Mm,
really charismatic. At least that's what she was saying. I remember one video she talked about that, about how um,
mm.
because that's one of the ways that they get you in is the charm.
Yeah, and that's what and that's why I said whether it's authentic or manufactured, that's debatable because if you're, if you're someone like that, you have to have some kind of magnetic appeal that's going to enable you to keep bringing that person back in, right? Uh, so it's fascinating, and I'm sure a lot of those people, it's manufactured charisma, manufactured magnetism.
Hmm.
But think about the thought that goes into creating this persona. Um, yeah, it's wild because the real person is that darkness that's lurking underneath. It's not that
Yeah.
charismatic person.
Yeah.
The true person is the darkness that's lurking underneath.
Anyway, yeah.
So the other thing I want to bring up, as you say anyway, and you sigh. I was listening to these podcast episodes, and it was kind of depressing.
Exactly.
Like
That's
it
why I don't
was,
want to keep
it
talking
was
about this either.
yeah. I heard that in your voice just now, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up. It's like it's exhausting and kind of it takes you to a dark place listening to these episodes.
Exactly.
So
That's why I had to stop listening to her ass because it was too
it,
much.
and these stories are so
Right?
traumatic. You're thinking, oh my goodness, this person went through hell. Oh my goodness. Now, I do want to point out one other thing that
I should be laughing. Why
there's
was I
some
just laughing?
circumstances.
It's not.
I don't know. That's dark.
No,
That's
it was. You
dark.
know what? I think it was because I was laughing because it's so bad. You have to laugh. It's almost like
No, I'm
I
not
mean,
laughing.
I mean,
No,
no, just how you're just laughing right now. Like it's not a laugh of.
I'm laughing at you thinking it's laughable. That's
That's
why
the
I'm
thing about
laughing.
it. It's so bad, it's laughable. That's the better way to say because the idea that people would be that bad is just like
Yeah.
what?
I
You know, that kind of laughable. Anyway, that's
yeah.
why I was laughing. I want to clarify that. But before we keep talking about this, I want to wrap it up because talking about it right now is just making me even more depressed. Just about how sick and
Yeah.
twisted people are. But
One thing else I want to say about this is that I did notice in these podcasts that some people are need to be a little more vigilant. Like some of these people, I felt. Nah, I don't want to say they're at fault, but and me, I like to play devil's advocate, and I do blame,
like,
at some level, the people that were involved, the people that were being taken advantage of and being put through this, the victims, because you have to have some level of street smart, and some of these, not all of them, but some of the victims are not at the, they need to be a little sharper about these things. And I've known people in the past that have gone through things like this, and I can say that they were definitely in some way not responsible, but responsible for it. But they needed to be sharper. They need to be a little bit more, a little stronger.
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, some people, I mean, I've been duped by people, but I've been duped by people who I thought I could trust too, and that's the thing, right? When you think
Yeah,
like, let's say somebody's working on you for 10 years, and then they end up being a fucking psychopath. No,
yeah,
I'm being serious. Like over time, you start
yeah,
to drop your guard with someone because you think, oh, but then when you look back, you realize, oh, this is a fucked up ass person. They're just fucked up, right?
yeah,
And so, um, then you realize that you have been duped, and then there's people too who just are who they are, and you might have, I wouldn't say they're necessarily narcissists, but they don't
mhm,
necessarily have the healthiest relationship. So then you can spin that too, like you were talking. I remember one time we had a soulmate conversation, and that never really
yeah,
works out. But sometimes maybe it's just better just to be that person's friend because they're never going to really be what it seems like they are in your head,
yeah,
right? So there's that too, and that person might not be a bad person, but you just realize it's not. That ain't that ain't
yeah,
happening. So, I mean, I think I don't believe in blaming the victim because I do think that when people are like seriously narcissistic and manipulative at that level, it's a different wavelength that they're functioning on that the majority of people in the world are.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I
I
don't
agree.
think that
Yeah,
you can, yeah, you need to have some sweet street smarts, but then it becomes, well, you just walking around not trusting anybody.
yeah,
So, where's the line? But you do need to recognize the flags. And I guess that's the part you're talking about is recognizing the flag.
yeah, yeah.
So, speaking of the flags, I told you I was defending your people this week. Um,
What about
I've just had a few conversations about how Indian people are so racist and they hate black people. And I was like, not
it?
all of them. I'm like, there
Yeah,
are some that are. I said, but not all of them. I said, I know that for a
right.
fact. Uh, seem to be. And I talk about us being, podcast partners. And a couple people I've told, even though I haven't told them about the podcast because I don't want them hearing everything I say yet.
I was just gonna ask you. I was thinking, wait a second. You
No,
told
I have
you,
not
you
told
kind
them.
of
First, I don't tell them your name. Second, I don't tell them the name of the podcast. And if they want to try to find it, then okay, they can find it. But I'm not, volunteering. I'm like, it's still a hobby. That's how I talk about it. Uh,
one of these days we're gonna expose our faces
I
and our
know
names.
one of these days.
One one of these days.
But
Yeah. So sorry,
my
continue. What
point
happened?
is that you have taught me.
And,
Not only do I feel like I get along better with Indian people now just because of the fact that we're friends. Like I don't even think that it must be something. You know how you start talking to people and you engage them and you know them as people. So then when you interact with other people who are similar, you engage the same way
yeah,
and so then they're engaging with you. So they're, oh, well,
yeah,
and it might not even be you saying, oh, it's not like you're saying, I have an Indian friend or I have a black friend who I have a podcast with. It's just the engagement
yeah,
is higher. So then your engagement with other people who are similar is higher too. And
yeah.
I think
Right.
I personally have experienced that, but not only that, I when I have them, some people have said, well, they're all. I'm like, no, they're not all racist. I said it depends on the generation because these things you've taught me, right? Depends on the generation, depends on the location, it depends on the person's background. I mean, yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, there are some.
Some
Yeah,
exposure, also exposure to. There's so many factors
ex-
that play into it. So putting a blanket statement on that is not a good idea. Just like any other situation.
exactly.
And so because you and I have built this friendship where we're comfortable and close to each other, you are now open to the idea of others who before you would have maybe held a boundary up. You keep your guard down a little bit for more engagement now that you know for a fact that not every Indian person is racist. Is that against black people? Is that how you feel?
I think that's naturally happened over the years of our friendship, yes.
I want to take a minute just to stop, Robbie, and soak this in because I feel like you're showering me with these compliments, and I just want to take it because I don't get these compliments
Well,
from you
no,
very often.
I think people are surprised that I have more than just you as an Indian friend. Like I have multiple people who I engaged to
Yeah,
who are
yeah,
Indian, who I
yeah,
like, who I would say are friends of mine,
yeah,
right? And so
yeah.
I don't, it's not a, I did used to always think that Indian people hated black people. I did. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Right.
And
I
that
know
was
you.
my experience.
I know.
That was
I
my
know.
experience. And
But I don't think you ever. I don't think. But from the beginning, I don't know if you felt that way about
no,
me.
you were always
Just
different though.
because.
You were crazy. I was like, who is this?
Oh, okay.
You were crazy. But then when I knew you, I didn't know that there was a huge Indian population in Detroit. But then when I knew you were from Detroit,
Oh,
I was
massive.
like,
Yeah.
okay. But even still, you're still even different from that perspective. You're just a little bit more open. And it's funny that you said when you moved to a certain state, you became more open versus when you were growing up in,
I
which
did.
is
Yeah.
interesting.
So, yeah, I grew up in the Midwest, and in a time, this is a little while back, uh, and society just as a whole was much more conservative. And then when I got older, I moved to San Francisco, and if you're gonna live in San Francisco and you're gonna, be functioning in society normally, um, you're going to have to grow to accept people that are different than you and have different backgrounds and have different outlooks on life and just have different experiences. Now, and I'm not talking about black
Mm.
people. I'm talking about other things because so growing up in the Midwest, I was around a lot of black people, um, and so yeah, to your point, yes, there are some racist Indians, people that, but at the same time, there are a lot that are not. Right? A lot of it is about exposure, and if you're not exposed, you're going to react to what the like very largely the media is giving you exposure to,
Mhm.
right? And that's a big player in all of that. And then uh, what people are saying around you. But I think so. I went to school in Detroit. Sorry, I went to college in Detroit, and I feel like with black people and also other minorities, we all in with amongst Indians and Middle Eastern black people, we always had this natural camaraderie and understanding of you know we when I grew up in a time where there was underlying racism against people of from other countries, with origin from other countries that recent. I mean, we all have origins from other countries, but I mean non-white people from other with from other countries of origin, right? So even if you were born here, your country of origin was somewhere else, and you had color in your skin. So there was underlying racism, but I also attribute it to lack of accessibility to information, at that time. So when I was in college, we people of color we all had this natural, we'd see each other even without knowing each other. We had this immediate, unspoken kind of bond. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like we looked at each other and we're like, yeah, yeah. And there was just this automatic trust because we kind of, even though we're different communities, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different experiences, but there was a similarity amongst all of us from a certain perspective of what we had all been through growing up. And we knew that, we just look at each other and, right away there was a level of trust that was automatically there.
Okay. I don't necessarily agree with that in every situation, but I mean, I hear it.
No, no, no. I'm not saying that was my
Oh,
experience. That was my experience.
okay. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. Can we talk about AI because there's something I want to bring up?
Oh boy,
Okay.
the world is
No,
imploding.
that's not it at all. So,
No, damn
um,
it. That's the story I like.
I know that's what you want to hear. Hold on, did I save it? I hope I saved this. Um, hold on. Yes, I did. Okay, so Anthropic just did a whole new study that mapped out which jobs are the most in danger of being replaced by AI. And
Okay.
the interesting part is they also said that even though they're the most in danger of being replaced by AI, it hasn't really shown that they are being replaced by AI right now. So the most exposed
Okay.
occupations are computer programmers, customer service reps, data entry keyers, medical record specialists, market research analysts and marketing specialists, sales reps for wholesale and manufacturing, except technical and scientific projects, financial and investment analysts, software quality assurance analysts and testers, information security analysts, and computer user support specialists. Then it says the jobs that are safer from AI are installation and repair, construction, agriculture, transportation, production, protective services, food and serving, ground maintenance, personal care, healthcare support, and healthcare practitioners. Then here's the
Hmm.
part it says workers are most likely to be exposed are educated and female, white collar roles. However, so far the
Hmm.
data shows no sign of mass displacements, even if the roles are most at risk.
But I think I don't know the source of that information, but we're seeing what's happening. Just it was a week ago, half a block laid off half of their
Okay,
employees, laid
well,
off
let's
like
talk about that.
4,000 employees.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
that. So this is from an
Yeah.
Anthropic study, so you can go and look for it. It's from a study that
Okay.
Anthropic did. Yes, I know Block
Okay.
laid off 4,000 workers, but Block's not doing that well. And my understanding is a lot of that was not AI, and that was based upon leftover COVID hiring, and it's easy to blame AI. So a lot of companies were doing
Yeah.
that.
So let's talk about that. Yeah. So that's what I've been seeing too. That's what I've been reading about too, is that people are using AI as a
Yes.
cover to lay people off because of the shortcomings, or not meeting projected, but or for whatever other reason the company needs to lay off people because they're not meeting their targets. But that's an interesting, and I think, yeah, I agree. That's probably the case in a lot of situations. I was also um, specifically about Block, I believe it was Block, where they're saying that this was not about AI, and companies like Block and other companies are laying people off, and they are literally shutting down teams that were doing research and development or experimenting on new products, new product teams that were trying to create new products. They're just shutting down those entire teams. It's not that AI took their jobs; they're just shutting down those
Mm-hmm.
roles. Um, and in certain circumstances, they're taking that money and they're putting it towards creating capability for AI to do some other roles. But like you said, so it's not that all of these jobs are being eliminated because AI is taking their jobs, but a lot of them
Yeah.
are.
I mean, I'm not.
And if even if it's not
Yeah,
happening
it's going
yet,
to happen.
you know,
It's going to happen.
the
It's going to happen.
yeah.
So, learn
Again,
your
but
AI
we need
people, huh?
guardrails. We need
We
guardrails.
do need guardrails. We need so many guardrails. I will say that it's so funny because the Anthropic CEO stood up to the government. You know that, right? We paid for somebody
Yeah,
to, and even though
yeah,
it might be a little bit of a paper boundary, it's still a boundary where he's like, no, I'm not going to do this,
yeah. That's impressive.
right? And so,
It's very
did you
impressive.
hear that 293% of people after that closed down their chat GPT and were trying to change over to Claude?
Wow, that's amazing.
I know, right?
Smart move.
So, anyway, I thought that was interesting. I had to mention that. Was there anything you wanted to mention about AI?
Not this week, Robbie.
Oh, okay. All right. So, are we going to talk about anything crazy, like anything silly? Um,
I haven't been following entertainment.
I
I'm
haven't
just,
really either. There was a limited thing with 50 Cent going after Beyonce's mom, and then he had to take that down because that was kind of a big deal. Because people were like, did he go too far? And most people were like, yeah, the Beehive's going to come after him. And then, like, less than 5 minutes that the post was up, it was taken down. So that goes to
wait, who wrote this? Who posted
50
this?
Cent. You know how he's like the man.
Oh, what did he
Well,
say?
he made a comment because he's been trolling Ti and Tiny for a long. I don't know. You know who Ti is, right? The rapper from Atlanta. Okay.
Yes.
His
Yeah.
wife. He's been trolling her, right? And so Beyonce's mom put a post up saying, "I think she's beautiful." He didn't. She didn't say anything related to 50 Cent, but it was related to 50 Cent, right? And she just put up that,
Okay.
and then 50 Cent put up a really crazy looking picture of Beyonce's mom talking about why is grandmama getting involved. Something,
Oh
right?
man, he's going after
And
people's
exactly.
moms.
And so
Come
then people
on.
were like, that's too much. That's not good. Blah, blah. So
Yeah.
literally,
What the
that
hell?
post was taken down in like 5 minutes. It was
Yeah,
something.
that's funny because 50 Cent does not back down, right?
He backed down on that
That's
one.
interesting that he took
He
it
backed
down.
down on
Yeah.
that one.
By the way, have you heard anything about Diddy and his little skitty? What's going
I
on
have
with
not been. Well, I
what's going
think
on with
Diddy's just having a deal right now. He's just having a deal. He's probably running some freak offs up in the prison. That's what I'm thinking.
He's probably dropping that soap bar of soap left and right. You know what
Oh
I mean?
God, that's
You know what I'm
I
talking
know
about,
what you're
right?
talking about. I know. Maybe he'll just
Oops, did I drop
be
that soap?
free to be me when he comes out. Um, I know his whole clan though is suffering because he was the bread maker. I mean, like he's the breadwinner, I should
Right.
say.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he was probably responsible for a lot of people getting nice fat
a lot
paychecks for
of
doing
people
nothing.
who are not doing that anymore, including his kids. So it's not like he
Yeah.
taught them the business so they could keep running it. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, I know I have,
All those people that were part of his freak offs not getting paychecks
right?
anymore.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is something interesting. So I don't know if you heard about this. So you know who Charlemagne the God is, right?
I love it when you yawn
I
on
know
podcasts.
because people can tell that we're taping this later and it's close to my bedtime. Because I got to get up and go to the gym in the morning, my discipline, right? So,
Right. Right.
Charlemagne
Charlemagne the
God, you know
God.
who that is? Okay, so
Yep.
he had some $200 million deal with iHeartRadio or something, right? Well, turns out
Mm-hmm.
that um I didn't know this. He has the Breakfast Club and he did a deal with Netflix with the Breakfast Club. Did you know about that? That the Breakfast Club
No.
is on Netflix now? Okay,
No.
well, the Breakfast Club is on Netflix, but here's the other thing. It is no longer like as a show like the new shows on YouTube anymore.
What do you
I
mean?
mean,
It's not. They took it
no,
down.
you have to watch it if you're going to watch like a new, like a recent show, a current show of it, not a past show.
Uh huh.
You have to go on Netflix,
Okay.
YouTube. Yes,
Wow. Okay.
because he did a deal.
Interesting.
So isn't that crazy?
Interesting. Yeah. Wow. So they're
So,
going through all
so
different avenues
Netflix
now.
and YouTube
Netflix is just.
are in literally in competition with each other.
Sorry. What did you say? Netflix and
YouTube
who?
are literally in competition with each other.
It's Netflix is just capturing so many
Isn't
different
that
markets. It's
crazy?
crazy. Sinking their claws and
I
everything.
know.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I mean, because there's other podcasts that they have on Netflix now too, which is
Really, I
yes,
didn't know
Netflix
this.
has a whole podcast um piece now. Yeah,
Oh wow.
isn't
Okay.
that crazy?
Yeah.
I know. Well, that's all I really have. I guess.
Exclusive. It's exclusive. That's pretty. That's big. That's
Yes,
big. If they're doing exclusive partnerships, that's
I
pretty
know. I think
insane.
they're going to probably end up like this whole Paramount Warner deal that Trump pushed through.
Well, Robbie, should we call
Hold
it a
on, hold
day?
on, hold on. Uh-oh. Wait, are you there?
Robbie, are you there, Robbie? Oh, it looks like we just we just lost Robbie, so we will just wait here for a couple more seconds till she gets on. In the meantime, we can talk about atheism. I feel like, you know, in this time when there's all sorts of madness, insanity going on in the world, it's easy to reach to your your quick answer, which is God, right? But I feel like we should look beyond God, look to something more real, something more honest, something more. Oh, hi, Robbie. I
Oh
was,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
just
But I
when
don't
you.
even know what ends up being what we recorded because you were talking. I'm
What?
serious. This is the thing, and yeah, because it's no,
Oh
it
no!
reconnected. So I don't know if we're ever going to have a whole episode, and I'm
Wow.
upset. We're
Well,
we're
Laura,
recording this right now, and this is going to be a part of it because this particular provider they need to get their stuff together. Async, formerly Podcastle. This is not good. I miss the Podcastle people because they knew what they were doing. Anyway, well, let's say goodbye, and I hopefully,
well, when you dropped
yeah.
off briefly, I started going to atheism, but
No, I
you logged back on a little quickly, so I'll leave it at that. We will continue that conversation another time, my friends. Oh, she's gone again. Robbie's gone again. Okay. So we'll give her another minute to log back on and see what happens. Hopefully, this episode did get recorded. I felt like we had a good conversation. Um, and I think, we were talking a lot about politics earlier. And, uh, I want to make sure we're not inadvertently alienating any of our audience. So I understand that different people have different political perspectives, different experiences, and we, if you have thoughts that are different than ours, we would love to hear from you. So, you know, drop a line for us. We'd love to even have guests on this show to talk about the differences, because, like I said, not everyone has the same. Oh,
I
look
know
who's back!
it keeps
Avi's back.
dropping, so I don't know what's being recorded, but whatever's being recorded, all of this is going up. So let's end this now, and we'll see. I'll see what I have, and we'll go from there. Okay,
All right.
goodbye.
No, wait. Can we do our?
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Is
Say
I
beautiful.
Stephen Kennedy? Stephen, please. Oh, screw it. It's I Stephen Kennedy. Oh, boy. All right, it is I, Stephen, with a PH Kennedy, board certified atheist, signing off. Good night. Love you.
Oh my God. Did you? Oh God. Did you say that? I don't know what you said. But yeah, yes, you did.
All right, not so. All
Oh
right.
God. God.
I'm still. It's not gonna stay on.